Right. Segue. Baku. So
It's okay. It's the country right now is suffering immensely.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah, Azerbaijan. Even though they had a lot of money, like enough money to like pretend to be Europe, Europe, hosting the European Grand Prix and the European Games or whatever earlier last year. Now it seems like the money taps are kind of being closed down because oil is so cheap, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you got Saudi Arabia, like a demented animal, just pumping the black stuff all over the world, like it was nothing, like it was fucking toilet paper.
Yeah.
Just don't worry about it. We got oil.
Take a
like,
few.
have it,
Take
have
a few
it,
extra rolls.
Have it.
It doesn't matter.
What's your niece's name? Yeah, she can have a barrel. You know what I mean? So that has driven the price of oil now to the lowest it has been since maybe the post-war era, maybe the Cold War, right?
At least 2002 or so.
Yeah.
I think it's like $28 or something.
It's
Depends what type. So I don't fully understand, but I vaguely do about like the Barrick, or sorry, not Barrick. That's gold. Like the Brent crude and
West
the
Texas
West
Intermediate.
Texas Intermediate and the whatever Eastern Sweet crude or all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I guess there's variances in what you can distill from each type of.
No. Those
base
are
oil,
just trading indices. The
just
West the Western
regionalized names, I guess.
The market. They're talking about like the market where it's being traded. So even though, for example, West Texas is no longer like in the global scale a significant oil producer, like they have oil.
They produce, but they keep a lot of it. I think now.
Either way, it's not
U.S. energy independence.
It's not as big as Venezuela, for example. It's not as big as even it's not. It's like West Texas is not as big as Azerbaijan, for example, in terms of oil production. But it's still one of the principal places where oil gets traded, and that says the industry. And there's a few other places that kind of like send the price. But either way, whatever it is, it's so low right now that the country of Azerbaijan, because its economy was primarily fueled by ironically
oil
so
export.
fuel. Like really, they're now in a bind. They're a debt-ridden country quickly spiraling out of control. By the time that we make it there, who knows how the country's gonna be? Man, there could be an uprising by the time that we're in Baku. Hilarious.
I tweeted this picture the other day, which is two things. On the same day, basically, Azerbaijan made a public assurance through the world media that they have the money. The race is gonna happen. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
This is the European Grand Prix. It's happening. And at the same time, what people were fearing and what kind of, at least like Nico Hülkenberg was pissed off about, he couldn't race in the Le Mans race because it would be interfering. It's on the same weekend.
It's still the same day.
Right. But
He's not going to be able to.
the schedule-
No F1 drivers are going to be able to.
the scheduling is as such that the qualifying is supposed to be ending before the race starts, and the race is supposed to start after the checkered flag of the Le Mans race. The Baku race is supposed to start, and as we had
Nico
speculated,
Hülkenberg is not going to be able to fly.
He's not gonna fly
from
No.
Paris, or
Yeah, we need
from
those
France
virgin space planes first. But this is the main point I had, at least with this tweet. This is the Maiden's Tower. That's the old walled city of Azerbaijan. We speculated earlier in the year, at least, that perhaps Abu Dhabi had some sort of lockdown on sunset races, since it was a badass idea and theirs was the only one. Apparently not. Baku, Azerbaijan, is going to be a sunset race.
Huh.
It's starting at sunset and finishing in the dark. The track's going to be lit.
So that's gonna be
Cool.
that's gonna be
That's
some
gonna be cool.
that's gonna be
It's
kind
gonna
of
be pretty badass.
it's gonna be local time for us too. We can watch this one live.
Oh yeah, it's probably close to 10 hours, 10, 11 hours, 10 hours
Well, it'll
time
be
difference. But yeah, we should be able to.
nice.
I
Yes.
think so.
Betty's?
Baddies.
It's gonna be very late in Europe, so it should be midday for us. But yeah, the point of it, and who knows if that was originally the plan, but is to start the race after Le Mans finishes.
Oh.
And to look badass. Doesn't that look cool? That's like their city square outside that Maiden's Tower is like 400 years old or something.
Holy shit.
Looks over the whole city.
Fair Maiden.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Other courses.
So Austin, I mean, we know that. Okay, I want to say. Primarily because I want to go, but I want to say Austin is still on the calendar. These guys.
So. Bernie says it's happening.
These guys have, they probably already paid for everything, so the local crisis is not affecting them.
Circuit of
this
the Americas?
year. No, Baku, Azerbaijan, because they probably already have like all the contracts in place. Everything has already been paid for, at least partly.
At least half a year ago when we first.
Or at least part of it. Whatever advanced deposits they needed on the fucking equipment and everything else, that's already been taken care of. So the race is happening this year. Future of that race still up in the air. Still waiting to see what happens. If World War III starts in 2016, obviously this is not going to happen.
Right.
Next time.
I mean, maybe the year after.
Yeah.
Wars are pretty quick these days.
What else? Okay, are we still talking about Monza being shut off the calendar?
No. But we are talking about Spa being shut off the calendar.
I told you the Italians are not gonna let Monza, and it's kind of like the only like gun that Bernie has. Like if the Italians don't want to pay, Bernie can be like, all right, we'll take you off the calendar, and then they will pay, because there's no way Ferrari will not have a home race.
Basically today, about I don't know, a handful of hours ago, this news came out. The contract for the Italian Grand Prix is set to be signed the final weekend of February.
Okay.
So I guess, or maybe the second, at the end of February, probably just before testing. And from the details I read, remember when they were at the race in Italy this year, Bernie was saying, this is never happening again. Nobody's here. Nobody cares. They need new facilities and blah, blah.
Yeah. So
apparently Italy, the government committed to some sort of facilities or track upgrade, and that basically there's two contracts on the table, a 4-year and a 7-year. So basically taking Monza to 2020 or 2023. And originally Bernie wanted, I have the numbers, $28 million for hosting fees. And it allegedly, apparently from the news, has been negotiated down to about 20, which is closer to what Spa and Spain pay for their hosting. But going on off of that, or let's look at that other tweet first, since we're talking about Monza right now. There's been a proposal, the first Huera Grande, to be repaved into an ex pista Pirelli with a 2.5 meter tall chicane at the end of it to bypass that corner.
That was a track. That's what that means. That was like an old Pirelli track that went like that.
That was there was a section of track that was used for tire testing. You see you see the sharp corner on the right that curves back?
Yeah. It went like that.
And then connected back to the original loop.
Like that.
Right.
Down here.
That was original.
Oh shit.
I looked up the history of this. That was used for tire testing.
That's why it's called the Pirelli track.
Right, exactly. So the idea is to repave that with that 2.5 meter tall, like a 10 foot tall chicane at the end of it, and reconnect to the Huera Grande, which is one of the fastest corners in F1.
Curva.
Wow.
Huera Grande. Yeah. But from what I read, apparently the way that this track works is it used to be like a ridiculous, it's called the Temple of Speed. It used to be ridiculously fast. But if you look at the map in the bottom left, those chicanes, at least the first one there, never used to be there.
Right.
It used to be one big straight. So when motorcycles and endurance cars race here, they have to go through that chicane, and it's really tight, like kind of too tight for motorcycles to do that.
Get a good lean on.
Yeah. So the idea of this chicane for motorcycles and endurance cars and certain other cars is to eliminate that first chicane, go straight through. Yeah, right there.
Right, okay.
Go straight through and then force them through the second chicane to slow them down before you get to the second straight. Right, so you're not going 400 by the time you reach the third chicane.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right. But there was also some quotes from Vettel that in the Ferrari simulator, they have this modeled already, and he's driven it a whole shitload of times.
Yeah.
So who knows? And that might be part of the deal that Bernie negotiated with Monza and the country of Italy to host this race.
Yo.
Is add something tailgate designed.
Like you
some
said,
bullshit.
that'll be a perfect spot for a Joker lap.
Yeah, the Joker lap. Remember we were talking? Yeah, we were talking about the Rally X.
Yeah, we're rallycross. Yeah.
Rally Cross. Well, X Cross, whatever. I lost a little.
What did you lose?
I don't.
Pendlet.
I don't advocate.
Throw some Joker laps in F1,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You just paint that line like the pit lap where you come out of the pits, you stay in there, everyone sees you coming, and
leave it like this. Don't even bother paving that. Just leave
It's
it
like off road.
Yeah.
It's like the secret. It's like the secret path in any Mario Kart.
I actually
level.
really like.
Yeah.
Come on, I know that it's one of those like pipe dreams that will never happen, but I would love to see modern F1 cars just tearing it down the banking, like the old Monza banking. Pull up a picture.
At least on a
just look up
demonstration.
Monza banking.
At least on a demonstration.
Banking.
Especially since they repaved it. They repaved it 2 years ago. Why? Why did they repave it?
That would be
Oh
so
my
sweet.
God. This
You
is
know?
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It's
the
like
that's the
fucking
old
surfing.
course. That's the old course.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, look at that.
What? That's
Yeah.
like 2 stories.
It was ridiculous.
Is the probably inspiration for modern NASCAR.
And if you
originally.
went, like, if you lost control of your car and while you were like, at high speed around this, and you could reach some
You
high
can see
speeds.
some skid marks there.
Yeah.
Look on the right side. Somebody lost control a few times.
The thing about it is like it's so unsafe because so let's say you lost control over here,
Yeah.
you'd keep sliding at the top to keep the momentum, right?
Oh,
so like
no.
you'd be on somebody else's racing line and then all of a sudden you'd like cross down because of gravity, so you'd be like right in the middle of cars passing.
Oh
It was
my-
super dangerous, but come on,
It looks
look at
so
that,
cool.
look at that.
It's like those. Ever see like those old either YouTube videos or GIFs, and it was like these people like almost like in a barrel, and it was like motorcycles. Or
Oh
like,
yeah,
there was like
at
bears
the
on
circus. At
motorcycles.
the circus,
I've seen that in real life.
Yeah, me too.
More than once, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Driving around inside a steel ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need more of that.
2 and 3 motorcycles. They look up
No,
and
man,
grab
this is-
hands.
Like these kind of pictures were the inspiration for something like a
about-
freaking Speed Racer.
The overhead, the helicopter picture there. There you go. You can see. Originally, they had the big loop.
And then they're just like, nah.
Yeah, like they're.
It went like that though. Like it okay, so they went up there, and then this.
Yeah, they went
Went
kind of
like
like.
Oh.
Yeah.
whoa.
They went on the inside, then the outside. Like
Yeah.
almost like a figure eight. It crossed over.
Fuck, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really.
That would
cool.
really
It was
change
really, really
a
cool.
race.
Oh man, and on top of like Monza is already one of the longest tracks.
Yeah.
Make no mistake, the shape is quite. It looks simple, but it's still huge.
Yeah.
So making it like this would put it in like freaking like almost Silverstone territory, probably.
Spa or something.
Like yeah, closer or even longer than Silverstone, but it would just be like, look at this. This would just be speed, like whoever can get around this the fastest. Sweet,
Yeah.
if
That's
you ask me.
Hey, you just throw some sprinklers on the side. You got a whole different race. Come on, Bernie.
Yeah, look at that bridge. No, come on, to the right. There, it's basically vertical.
That's a wall.
Yeah, no, but there were cars here, man. Boom.
And if you look 2 to the left, that's how it looked very recently. 2 photos to the left of that, above, right to the right one. Nope.
Sorry.
Yeah, right below that. Yeah, that's how it looked very recently. And
With moss.
yeah, but they got money
Jesus
together
Christ.
and repaved the
No,
whole
click
thing.
that again. Click that again.
In about 2 years ago, I think they
Oh,
repaved
no,
it.
never
I
mind.
don't even know what happened.
I think it showed a picture of Lewis going down the banking.
You got to
But they
drive.
would ne-
Remember,
they
you
would
got to
never-
drive it with Sterling Moss or something.
Yeah, Sterling Moss's car. Yeah.
They would
Yeah.
never put something like this in F1.
Because they're pussies.
Not anymore.
There's a fucking we are living right now in an era of the great pussification of the world.
The world, man.
Everything's got to be fucking.
I saw a great argument the other day. It was a photograph from the late 50s or early 60s of Monza, and then compared to now and how it looks, safety. The overhead bridge is different. Sorry, not Monza. I'm sorry, Monaco.
Yeah.
But how dangerous it was. People standing on the side of the track. Any of these photographs,
Mhm.
and somebody's argument was, yeah, we've being pussified. nobody should have to die at a sporting event, but at the same time,
That shit happens.
you don't have to
regardless.
stand beside the track. There's something
Yeah.
called personal responsibility. You understand the risks of what
Yeah,
you're doing
guys.
and accept them.
Yeah.
Guys, be smart. What did I say?
Yeah.
One of the
What did I say?
last.
Be
This,
smart.
this is why I love MMA so much.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into it again, but this is one of the last vestiges of real fearlessness and ridiculousness is
Absolutely.
getting in a cage with a man and fight him until somebody falls asleep.
Right.
Until somebody's
I mean,
brain
isn't-
turns off. That's
Isn't like part of the
You
reason
don't
why
have
they
to
get
die
paid so
going
much, like these
300.
drivers get paid so much, is that it is dangerous.
yeah, it's
Right,
dangerous
and
as
it,
hell.
and it requires enormous skill.
Yeah.
Right. Enormous skill.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like pod racing
Yeah. Yes.
or building a Death Star.
Exactly.
Looking at you, Bernie.
Like I wouldn't be surprised that when like if when Bernie dies and like all his like his carcass starts to like get eaten by worms, all you get all that remains is something like that.
The Terminator head right there on your speaker. Sticking on this topic though,
Yeah.
we still have for 2016 on the official calendar 21 races. The
That's
Concord
so weird,
Agreement
man.
says 20.
Yeah.
We talked about this a few months ago, and you're adamant that you believe Spa was next on the chopping block.
It was. Yeah.
I saw an article this week.
It's
I
so
couldn't
sad,
I couldn't
man.
find a link, but
Why?
it
Why
might
would you
still be.
Why would you compromise Spa? Like you can't. You have to take. Yeah, Spa is
Yeah,
not
you
a
gotta
great
take
place.
Gotta take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Spa's the British.
It's Belgian.
No,
Belgium.
Belgian.
Eau Rouge, the big hill.
Oh, okay.
It's
the
one
longest
of,
track.
It's
over
the
7
last
kilometers.
It's the last vestiges of old F1. I mean, even though the track has been changed and it's not as long as it used to be, it's still the longest.
Still the longest one. So
And
it's over
it's still
7
got
kilometers.
some of the badassest corners in F1, and the straights and just where they go, man. They go and race in the middle of the Ardennes forest. It's beautiful around there. It's not. It's only today. It's only for the fans. You don't go there to host a business meeting like you would with your sponsors
like
in Monaco.
Montreal or
Montreal or Monaco.
Yeah,
You wouldn't.
any of the city
There's no casino.
races
Well,
in
there
the
is like
big
a small casino, but it's like a casino like there would be in a small town.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like a
Some
couple
slot
slots. Yeah,
machines,
exactly. No, Spa, you go there because you go to race. And it's a challenge for the drivers, and they love it because it's actually like one of the last true tracks.
Almost everyone staying there is camping.
But because there's no money in it, Bernie wants to chop it off, and like that has to be stopped. And if this is something that the manufacturers are gonna stop, like this ridiculous, like wanting to get rid of like the actual important races in favor for whoever like the biggest bidder is, then I applaud that. You know what I mean? Then I'm on board, because Spa needs to stay. This shouldn't be a This shouldn't even be open to discussion. You know what I mean?
That's what they said
Yeah.
about the NHL Nordiques, the Quebec Nordiques,
Oh really?
and then they got chopped.
Shit.
But there's talks of bringing them back. So I feel it's just one of those. It wasn't like the most marketable team.
Quebec doesn't have a hockey team.
Well, they have Montreal.
Montreal. Yeah.
But they used to also have Quebec City.
A provincial team. Oh, Quebec City.
Right. So they used to have two, and then they moved, I believe, to Colorado,
Oh, crazy.
and then they became
Rockies.
the
Rockies, right?
Avalanche.
Avalanche.
I don't know fuck all about hockey. Sorry.
But yeah, but it was like one of those older teams that you're like, why would you get rid of this? Like, I know it's kind of the suffering, but I mean, like, the East Coast is like there's a lot of need and want for hockey,
Right.
But there's just not a lot.
If Bernie was in charge, they'd have to change the name to the KN or the KH,
Yeah.
the KHT, the Quebec hockey team.
QHT.
Well, there's talks now of adding like a Las Vegas
Well,
team.
I'm saying it
we
in
have a
French.
similar Bernie Sanders, Bernie Ecclestone
Q,
in the
QHT.
NHL. What?
QHT.
Cool. There's an NHL Bernie. Hilarious.
His name is kind of escaping me now, but yeah, he was kind of a dick because there was a few lockouts in the NHL,
right.
And it was just kind of a lot of back and forth of bullshit. And
they actually didn't play for a year.
Yeah, a
or two.
year, and then at another time, a few years later, for half a year.
that is so weird. That would,
it was super weird.
That wouldn't happen in F1. That couldn't happen because then it would be too unsustainable. That's the point. That's what, and it's so fucked that for some of the negotiations and why they've gone through with Bernie and whatever is that F1 needs to carry on just for its sake. It needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, then like if so much as all, like if all the teams, for example,
what is everybody in every feeder series racing for if there's no Formula 1?
Exactly.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
GP2, GP3, Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 4.
But just everything that
Renault
is at
3.5,
stake, man.
V8 Challenge,
There is
IndyCar.
just so much at stake that
Go-karts. What are you racing a go-kart for? There's no
if all the
option.
teams missed even one race, the whole system would go the way of the dodo. You know what I mean? Like it would.
Yeah.
It's just it would go belly up. Nothing would be sustainable. Like thereafter, the teams wouldn't make the money that they'd have to. The promoters would get shafted, etc., etc., etc. It's so fucked. But keeping F1 going on just for the sake of it shouldn't be the primary motivator.
I don't believe that's even a question because there's still many countries vying to hold a race. Argentina, 3 days ago.
Yeah, but if you ask me, I'm of the opinion that there should be 30 races a year. Why not?
Why not? But the teams don't want it. The teams don't want to.
Fuck the teams.
They don't want to travel that much. Well, yeah, you do more and more back to back. You get the time off. Everybody else works all year. You get like 4 weeks off or 6 weeks vacation.
Yeah.
That's probably the world average.
Yeah, you want to keep your month vacation. This and that. No, come on.
But imagine like traveling. Like
no,
I like to travel as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
But like if I was traveling all the time, like no set real circadian rhythm. Like I'm pretty sure that would take some sort of toll on me.
Yeah, that's why you're in competitive sports. No, you know what I mean.
You make a point. Absolutely.
Like it's sports people. Like you're doing something that you, the average human being, normally wouldn't do, and that's what's important. That's why it matters.
Right.
You're looking at something extraordinary, and if it has to be extraordinary to that degree, why not let it loose? But that's my opinion.
No. I think that makes sense. So, like, I understand what you're saying, and I would prefer more races, but in a sport that's clearly not at its highest point.
Yeah.
We're getting there. What do you think we're doing here?
Every Tuesday. This is why we're here. I get that.
Listen, it would be simple. It would be very simple.
Yeah, but that's more money that each team has to spend.
Yeah,
and therefore
make it more appealing, make it more available. Like that's why they're peeling the banana the wrong way.
Right.
Listen, what they need to do is, number one, make the sport more available. Number two, stop caring so much about distribution rights and all that. Just try to make money. You will reach $1 million quicker from getting $1 a million times than $1 million at once.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like that's like if you stop thinking that the biggest consumer market in the world is the U.S., there's some gray line. It's the U.S. or China. Mm-hmm. Depending on how you measure it. So if you stop thinking that the biggest consumer market in the world is the U.S. or China, and realize that the actual biggest consumer market in the world, the way it is right now, is the world. Yeah. Then that changes everything. And once they finally get that, and they finally realize that the marketing should be done on new media and all this, and the sport should be like, why aren't they promoting in Africa as like above like beneath? I don't understand it. I don't understand why they're not making much of an effort. Man, there's companies right now, multinationals. That's their next goal.
Especially no racism involved. The world champion is a black dude.
Yeah,
his family originally came from Africa.
Breaking it to Africa is what Nestlé is trying to do. Is what Procter and Gamble is trying to do, because it's a market that right now they've bypassed all the bullshit that the Western world had to go through, like, you know,
they just kind of
like fixed
all the
fixed telephone lines, like, you know, like bullshit, like all kinds of bullshit, and now
it's actually
everybody's
awesome for
connecting.
Them. They're gonna go boom.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of stories about like little villages. Like normally you have like 20 goats.
Mm-hmm.
There's a village that way and a village that way. You don't know who's paying more for goats this week. Now they have cell phones. You just text your buddy.
Yo, how much
you pay a guy.
How much for this goat?
Tell me how much goats are every week. I'll pay you a buck.
This is actually huge, man.
That's
really?
for real. It's
yeah,
gigantic.
no.
Because otherwise, you'd have to spend 2 days. You'd spend a day to go to that village and back, a day to go that village and back.
You can,
and then if that one was more paying more money, you go there with your goats. The third day.
In any like little regional market like this in Africa, you can go and make this study, and we know because studies have been made. And as soon as like you can see, like, so if you plot a graph of, like, say, the price of goats right, from day to day, and like how much goats are going for, it looks like that, and then there comes a clear point where it stabilizes, and that point is the introduction of the cell phone, because then communication makes it easy, and openness, and that is just, it's happening everywhere. That's the way. Look around you. Look around everything. It's happening everywhere. That's the way the world is going. The idiots at the top just are too involved in the way things used to be to realize that that's what's happening.
Right. I only say goats because you imagine the lowest opportunity person just trying to survive. They have cell phones now and they can text the next village.
Yeah, like you can just
it's
either the idea of a smartphone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just
they're doing incredible stuff. There's in Kenya, one of the biggest companies there, like, one of the biggest startups and most exciting startups to come out from Kenya is a mobile payment company. A mobile payment company, because it's so much easier for people to send money to each other over there than it is here.
Yeah.
Than it is here, man. Yeah. It's so intense.
That's insane.
Like, you don't need to have a bank account. All you need to have is a cell phone to have, like, and a cell phone now in Kenya provides you with the same, like, basic need, or, like, you know, takes care of the same basic needs that a bank would have over here. It's so incredible, man.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff is happening there. Where's Formula One?
There was a South African race until the 90s, until the mid 90s. So let's look at two opportune markets. This week, 3-4 days ago, the Argentinian government made a big news story about
love to see F1 back in Argentina.
Wanting to go back to Buenos Aires. The last time they raced there in 1998.
I'd love to go. I'd go. Like, man, I'd save all my money. I would go. Like, if there's an Argentinian Grand Prix, we should go.
Yeah.
The timing for this.
I got my passport.
No, it'll no. It's gonna. I know the Argentinians will make a big deal.
The timing for this is pretty apt because in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I believe, the Formula E race will be in Buenos Aires.
Nice.
Not on the Formula One track, in the downtown. They just announced or just elected a new president, Mauricio Macri, who appointed a new tourism minister named Gustavo Santos.
Okay.
Whose mandate is to bring Formula One, the World Cup, and any other big events. They've already got Formula E for the past 2 years.
Okay.
To
international events
to Argentina. They want to get back. They want to get back on the map. They were a big Formula One country for a while.
Where does Juan Manuel Fangio comes from?
Yeah.
Juan Manuel Fangio, the first F1 stars before there were. His record of 5 championships wasn't it wasn't beaten until Schumacher in the early 2000s. Like, it went from 1950s to early 1960s.
Holy shit.
Till the 2000s before somebody broke Fangio's record. And, like, where was Fangio from? He was from Argentina. Argentina. The thing about Argentina in those days, though, is that Argentina was, like, believe it or not, it was a first world country. Argentina is maybe the only country that we have in recent history that has actually gone from first world all the way back to third world. But they used to have more money than Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a little bit of oppression. the little war there.
Yeah.
Down there.
Oh, it wasn't accidental. This all happened and it was world politics, and U.S. foreign policy was heavily involved in this. It was nasty.
It wasn't the Brits kind of fucked with their oil platforms in the ocean and stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, but Argentina does have, as much as a name like Alfa Romeo has a claim for an historic status in Formula One, so does Argentina. It does.
Autodromo Oscar Alfredo Galvez.
But that's not a very interesting track, is it? Look it up. It's not very interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd have to modernize it, same as any other.
Yeah, but they're gonna bring Tilke in there, and Tilke's gonna Tilke it to fucking boredom.
They might not change. Yeah, they might change the. But they're gonna change the pit lane.
Yeah, it's small. That's the problem.
It was
but it
built
has
in
to be
53.
small.
Yeah. 4.3 kilometers on the GP circuit.
Yeah, most wins in it is still Juan Manuel Fangio.
There you go, 4 wins. Most wins by constructor Williams at that track.
Yeah.
Another interesting, the final one I got.
Yeah.
Iran is pushing hard for a F1 race.
And why not? Let them.
This is actually the second time I looked back. See if you can bring up Qeshm Island, Qeshm, on the Google map. We'll look at it.
Qushm.
But interesting.
Island,
yeah.
Oh,
Qeshm. I'm sorry. Yeah. So you can bring up the Google map page or something. There you go.
Okay.
Change it to the satellite view, and then you can zoom out and see relative to Iran where the island is. It's in the very south, very very close to this track. Bahrain, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. It's right across the fucking strait.
Yeah, right across from the UAE.
The Gulf. Yeah.
The Abu Dhabi course, the Bahrainian course is fairly close.
So they want to build an F1 track there.
The Indian closest track is fairly close on this island, the Qeshm island. I looked quite a bit at this island, and it seems there's a few towns, like smaller, not really a major city. There's an international airport on there, so I assume they want to develop this island a bunch.
But turn it into a resort island. This area around here is probably nice.
Yeah, I'm sure it looks like a little lagoon.
Yeah,
it's a protected area.
Yeah.
But
I've heard that have actually not Iranians themselves, but people that have actually gone to Tehran. All I've heard is that Tehran is actually supposed to be pretty cool.
As far as the Middle East is concerned, I've heard that Tehran is one of the best cities to go to. Yeah. The most progressive, the most things to do, the most whatever, the most.
In contrary to what you might believe, apparently the booze is a-flowing. One thing that I read recently is that apparently Iran, for a country where booze is outlawed, it actually they consume more booze there than like all of their neighbors, including Turkey and like the big ones,
exotic vehicles.
Wait, we have Persian friends, right?
Yeah.
You know how over the top they are. Like they probably I mean they would do it in a different way. They do it in their own way. They probably put like velvet carpets everywhere. Like the color purple would be a prominent theme. You know what I mean? Like Louis Vuitton would be like etched onto everything. But they'll do it. They do big.
They'll do it proper.
Yeah.
But in 2011 or just after September 7. They had a little bit of sanctions imposed on their country by the world, the world order.
Just after they,
as well as announced building a Formula One track now on this island. The originally plan was near the capital, but I guess this island is their new priority. They also had some new elections, like Argentina. The vice president of Iran, Masoud Soltanifar.
I think.
I don't think it's the Iranians. It's just the assholes in Iran, like most of those.
Like everything. But I think that just by knowing, like Persian people, I know that they would do it big, and
of course
they are a crowd that is already like soccer crazy. They are like they're actually. If you look at pictures of Iran back from the 70s, it looked more like Europe.
Yeah, they look like us.
They're
driving, walking around in jeans and stuff, and throwing footballs around.
And that still hasn't escaped them. As much as like with the new regime or whatever, it's like it's very, very very Islamic, and they're the Islamic Republic and this and that, and like there's things that like you couldn't get away with now that you could before, but. They're still Persian. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not Arabs,
but I think
they're Persian, and like they'll do it a Persian way.
Yeah, I think there's still stuff you can get away with either way.
I had a teacher in high school from Iran, and he was just like, "No, I'm Persian."
Yeah.
And he was